Peace, family. Here we are, a day or so after 4th of July, and the display during that ceremony was simply atrocious. Here we are in 2026, and you have the Ku Klux Klan, white nationalists, marching through the streets of this country just as proud as can be, taking their ever sweet loving time by the hundreds. It was hundreds of them. And you know what I thought? How was it that this country fought a war 250 years ago to end slavery and start a country anew? The people that sacrificed their lives to separate themselves from that barbaric past, you've had 250 years to build upon that. You had 250 years to separate yourself from what you were to what you aspire to be. And you got today hundreds of white nationalists marching through the streets completely unaccosted. And as we've seen from the image surrounding a black woman on the train, just... And see, and another thing, let me say this before I forget. This is why I stay on you Negroes' necks. When you sit up here and talk about something, well, Jonathan, why do you want to separate? Jonathan, it's not all white people. Jonathan, we can't be like a... Here you had, during slavery, white people that was... over 99% of white people did not have slaves. Less than 1%, let they say, had slaves. You had over 99% of white people who not only did not have slaves, but stood by and did nothing. While you had such a small percentage of whites not only drag our ancestors from their motherland to here, but enslave them, sodomize them, beat them, terrorize them, lynch them, cannibalize them, while they did nothing. You have no historical records. A little Billy, a Sally, waking up in the middle of the night, listening to the horrors and the beatings that their fathers and uncles was giving these slaves. No protests from nobody else saying we're not going to buy your goods and services, we're not going to participate in your economics, we're going to drive you out of the... Nobody did nothing. So how is it today that white people had to look back and reflect on what their actions were 250 years ago? And I know that they were saying, well, if I had been there, it'd have been different. This wouldn't have happened around me. I would have put a stop to this nonsense. What's white people's excuse today? What's their reason for sitting back, watching their own people march with masks on their face, carrying a Confederate flag on the 250th birthday of this country? What's white people's excuse for sitting back doing nothing today? And what is you Negroes' reason now to sit up here and still want these people to participate? They won't even stand up to their own people. So if they won't stand up to their own people, how are they going to stand up for you? When I saw that, I said to myself, today is yesterday. This country has had 250 years to improve upon its efforts to be the country that they said they wanted to be, according to their own Constitution, according to their own Bill of Rights. They had nobody coming here telling them what they had to do, how they could do it. And they decided to put all this stuff on paper, certified and everything, and you had 250 years to build upon it. And look how far we are removed from the intentions of the Constitution and Bill of Rights. You got a pedophile as president of the United States, a felon, a crook, You got KKK marching through the streets today like it was in 16. This is absolutely ridiculous. And then people talking about some, oh, what is this country going to be like 250 years from now? You think this country going to be around 250 more years? Do you really honestly think that? You know, like I say, I'm going to say this. The effort it would take to save this country, to turn it around, to make it finally honor its intentions. Would it be worth the effort to do that? Or would it be easier just to start a whole new concept of a country, a whole new concept of a way to live? Because when you look at how fractured this system is economically, politically, judicially, industrially, when you look at the cracks and crevices that this system is so fractured, how can you paste and glue and weld this thing together thinking it's going to be solid? It will have you'll be better off just starting a whole new way of life. And black people, we can do it just that. But this time, we can do it for ourselves. And then we don't collaborate with nobody on anything around our essential needs and services. And if we do collaborate with anybody, we will have some say in the laws and the government that presides over us, that protect our interests. If this country wanted to be anything that it set out to be 250 years ago, you would have thought at some point in time after they released the slaves that they would have put black people in office specifically to govern over our rights, freedoms, and privileges, to give us a say in how the laws are formed, how the laws are interpreted, how the laws are enforced. Give us an economic base on how we can provide for our own food, educate our own children, provide for our own health, manufacture our own goods and services, control our own economics, govern our own affairs. They had 250 years to come up with that. Not only did they fail to do that, they failed even reigning their own people. You got Ku Klux. By the hundreds, these people were walking through the streets. It is absolutely ridiculous that this, you know what, I'm not even going to say no more about this nonsense. But like I said, I'm in this video here. And as always, these are my thoughts, my opinions. I invite you to leave yours in the comments. And I'll see you in my next video. Ashe.